Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and otherwise self-identifying, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ashe and Shade Committee. Rachel, what was the line you sent me? Oh, yes, you heard 5% chance. You scream, I scream, we all scream for dopamine. And that's what we have here this lovely evening. You'll notice that to my immediate right is not actually Ronan. We have a guest with us this evening. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Devin. Nice to meet you all. I got nothing.
What a fantastic fucking intro, and I love it. That is the most you thing you possibly could have said. Yeah, Devin is jumping on as a bit of a guest, since we've got Chris will be joining us at halftime again, so we're trying to get some new faces in here. But speaking of faces, there's a segue here, and I've lost it. We also still have Rachel. Hello, Rachel. How are you this lovely day? Working on your mime degree. It's working out well. But yeah, I still haven't thought of a better segue. That was supposed to be a throw to give me something. Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for being the voice of reason, as always. Last bit of housekeeping. We are sponsored by Sheckler Woodworking. You can pick up a lovely set of our stickers over on his website. Sponsor tags in the chat. But yeah, ShecklerWoodworking.com. Check out some dice trays. Check out the stickers. We have a little bitty 2-inch one. We have a clear and a white 3-inch one, and then a full color 3-inch one. And you can turn whatever merch you want into 5% merch. My car currently has one, as does my water bottle. You cannot buy a car from 5%. But if you go to Sheckler Woodworking, you can get one of his neat dice trays that we all use here, or any other fancy number of wooden things. Handmade with love in his garage. So, thank you to our sponsor, Sheckler Woodworking, and for holding onto those stickers for us. I think that's all my housekeeping stuff. You really think I'd be better at this by now. But we will begin with a brief recap of what happened to Thalia in our last session. Thalia, what were your notes? You had an
the
entire...
short one or the long one? I've got a page and a half. Closer to 2, honestly.
Let's go short.
Okay. Skip that. Okay. I decided to go make good on my deal with Loaded Baked Potato. And I asked Atronics to come with me because the boys aren't around. And he's like, yeah, sure, let's go. So we do. And then there's 3 hags waiting for me. That was a fun surprise. 3 hags on a couch. That's a punchline, or that's the start to a punchline, but you know, whatever. My notes go to all caps at that moment, so it must have been really bad. Oh yeah, it says there's 3 ladies on the couch, one old, one young, one old, and Numshara. Fantastic, they're sisters, everything's fine. Quote the note. Make good on the deal. She takes 2 memories. Well, copies one, takes another. We do, Atronics does notice under the loom there's, I'm trying to figure out how you put it, like a cross stitch? But there's like something with the rainbow colors of the coalition, but instead of completion into a full round circle, it just becomes a gnarled tangle of knots that is unknotable. And she swears a lot about that. Or no, she swears a lot about the threads getting tangled on the loom. Okay. And we peace out. Because we're like, goodbye!
Run.
Don't trick us into any other deals, thanks.
You did have in interacting with the other 2 sisters. The rug with the coalition on it is just like a traditional woven and loomed kind of rug.
Oh, okay.
So rather than a circle, it is more of a rectangle, almost to tapestry size. But yeah, you see the bands of color coming together, curving down, and as they approach that central point where you remember the fist of the coalition and all those bands of color coming together, and about the wrist is where it all snarls together into this mess, and that's kind of where the product stops.
I also said we also trade faint hints about fate bringing us together again in the future and fate calling us to converging threats. Then it gets into the boys' notes.
So then we jump to the boys. But really, yeah, that's a very quick summary of what went down. So, when last we left you, you were stepping out of the tent, out of Umshara's tent, through a very familiar doorway, with Atronix close behind your heels, as you politely make your exit. And you feel a very similar shifting sensation that you did on the way, as you stepped through this doorway. And as you're kind of following through it for a brief instant, excuse me, you see the house that you left in Durganvor. You see out the doorway of the closet that you had found for this portal. And you hear an annoying voice. Whoops. Damn, that's might unlucky, miss. And there's a flash of a green eye and a smile. And right behind your navel, you are tugged. And you feel Atronix, you see Atronix finish the step. But he is not, like, as he's sort of stepping through the door after you, you are pulled off and away to the side, and you see him slowly finishing that step through the doorway before you lose sight of him, and you are pulled into the blackness. Can I get, real quick, roll D percentiles for me. Love a D percentile.
Double zeros.
That is 100. Holy shit. Okay.
Straight up double. I'll snap it.
Please take a picture of that. Okay. Excellent.
Going in the group snap.
So I now have 2 questions for you. One, can you roll me an Arcana check, please?
Yeah.
If you would like to know what's going on.
Yes, my liege. 18.
You know enough about teleportation magic to know that it is, you still have to travel through something. And typically the spaces between are, if you're teleporting on the same plane, you are jumping, like, there's a brief jaunt into, like, the ethereal plane or something, like, very adjacent. You've never felt this kind of tug, and you are being pulled perpendicular to the doorway that you were walking through, imagining it like a hallway, and all of a sudden you're yanked through the wall. So you are currently spiraling out into not blackness, but nothingness. However, with a 00, with a 100, you find yourself, as you're thinking about this, sort of spiraling out, thinking about what's going on, your mind is just running through the facts. You remain remarkably calm, sifting through, thinking about what you know. And around you, from the nothingness, from the ethereal world around you, you start to see shapes sort of forming out of the blackness, out of the emptiness, with this almost sort of rainbow coruscating hue around them before they become solid. Ding, are you in your library at this moment?
Yes.
Okay. What does your library look like, Ding?
It is, as you walk in, there's a nice, cozy fireplace right in the middle. with a like a nice big leather armchair, very very plush, very good to settle into. And then it's just bookcase after bookcase. It's multiple levels, and the stairs are also bookcases. Both like the stairs themselves, there are books under each step, and then down the sides, books. With the lower area just being general everything. The second level has special books, and most of those are in cases to keep them protected.
Okay. Are you in your chair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is. I am snuggled very deeply in the chair, sipping a glass of something, probably tea, as he is perusing his books.
So, Ding, as you are perusing through your scholarly acquisitions out here, roll me Arcana.
Arcana. Okay. That is 12 plus 10, 22.
Perfect. So as you are perusing your books, there is an odd pressure in sort of against your senses. Someone is in your house. And Thalia, I'm sorry.
Oh, just God damn it.
Thalia, you find yourself standing, looking up at a wall of books in a library that you don't recognize. And I'll give you this for free as a member of the Brotherhood. You don't recognize a single one of these books.
With my Arcana roll, does it feel like I'm still in between? Like I'm not... Because I would know if I've I know the entrance exit feeling.
Yeah.
Would I feel that I have stepped through the other end of a portal, or if I'm still in that in between?
With an 18, you did not step out of anything.
Okay.
You have not felt that sensation of like that kind of tumbling sensation of exiting one of these things. Like you're, but you feel less having things to like rationally pin yourself down with. You do not feel quite as floaty and empty.
I'm gonna look around. Is there a bucket, bin, anything anywhere close?
Ding, do you have a bucket in your library?
Trash bin, anything?
The house has a way of providing, so there would be a bucket might just kind of slide out from a table or something.
All right, stress vomit into the bucket, away from the books, But probably a stress vomit.
Ding, on the second floor, you hear the sound of someone retching.
Losing it.
Great.
It's very brief. It's just like once.
Just one.
Yeah, because she's practicing
done.
this, which I hate.
Yeah, she like keeps her cool in big important moments in front of these like big powers. Then she's like, "All right, that's done. Vomit. Done. Cool.
Great. Just what I needed. I was just settling in. Ding's gonna make his way out of the chair, grab his staff, and start stumping his way up the stairs. The book he was reading is just gonna he's gonna use Mage Hand and just put it back where it was. As he makes his way up the stairs.
Okay. You hear the thump, step, thump, step, thump of someone coming up the stairs.
The stairs?
Turning around behind you, looking down, and you see a figure walking up the stairs, sort of off to your left. Ding, what do you look like? Let's get to the description part. Let's get to actually describing your character instead of being a grumpy librarian.
Yeah. So as I come up the stairs, you see an older man with just pure white hair and beard. The hair looks like it's just been cut to whatever was the easiest length to maintain with scissors. without having to put any real effort into it. Same with the beard, like it's kind of trimmed and contained, but it's just scruffy, in that way of an old man who really just doesn't care anymore. Tanned, kind of leathery skin. He's a little under 6 feet tall, seems fairly well built, but not like muscular at all. Just like somebody who probably moves around a good bit, stays healthy, but without really doing anything strenuous. But as he comes up the stairs and you see his eyes kind of clear the top level of the staircase, his eyes are just like pure blue, and then it looks like a star field in them.
Ding, as you come up the stairs, you see Thalia. Describe yourself for Ding.
Holding a bucket. She's about like 5'1", so quite a bit smaller. 5'1". She has this she's not like a flaming redhead, but kind of that ruddy red hair, kind of light curl to it, just a natural wave. And she's dressed in kind of mid to well clothes, so not wealthy but not poor. She does have like a purple tunic that's very loose. She's got a couple of packs on her, one on her side. She's got bagpipes slung over her shoulder somewhere. Like you can see the pipes sticking out somewhere from a bag. And there's like a drum also attached somewhere on the back. You can maybe hear like a she like whips around to see the staircase. Curtis, can I implement the thing we talked about like a month ago with my eyes?
Yes, do the thing. Verb the noun.
Okay, so and her eyes they were golden, but lately they've actually had like a bit of a sunset, almost like the dark purples and dark blues starting to crest on the bottom, and that gold still shines through, but kind of like yours, more like starlight, more like sparkles, and that dusk between bright sunshine and bright starlight, get a mix of both popping up in her eyes. And she is just stress vomited into a bucket. Looking very embarrassed.
And I will say, you do notice that she has kept herself away from any books or any of your antiquities. She has equidistanced herself and kept them as safe as possible.
Well, I guess at least you're considerate. Well, what the hell are you doing in my house? You shouldn't be here.
I don't think I should. I'm really sorry. I just fell here.
You just fell here.
Yeah, I just fell here.
Curtis, what do I know about this? Is that a thing that happened?
Roll me an Arcana,
every
please.
Tuesdays.
Okay.
Falls in.
I will give you advantage because you've spent. This is your wheelhouse. This is what you've been doing.
Okay. Advantage first was 17. 27.
Falling into the space between. It's not unheard of. But falling into your house? Either you're slacking or something's wrong here, and you have not been slacking.
Well, that doesn't sound right. That shouldn't be possible. He's gonna shuffle over to the walls and kind of bang them with his staff a few times and be like, no, that's still there.
Just gonna start prestidigitating the vomit on the bucket. Like cleaning the bucket.
As he noticed, Ding will kind of wave you off and be like, house will take care of it. Come here. And he'll start stumping his way back downstairs because he has a book he needs to find.
Gently place the bucket away from the books. and follow.
As you put the bucket down, it kind of starts skirting over back under the table, and you watch as the remains of your breakfast just kind of sink down to the bottom of the pot and just disappear.
That's a beautiful enchantment.
And follow.
Yeah. What book are you hunting for?
I am hunting for a list of spirits, like greater spirits or deities or anything that could screw with me like this, because there aren't many.
Could or would want to, because those are two very different lists.
We're gonna start with could, and then I'll cross-reference that with whoever I pissed off.
Okay. Short, roll me. I'm gonna make this history.
Okay.
You remember where you put it.
Great. Let's see. That is 7 plus 10, 17.
You know it's on the first floor in the shelf. It's nestled. You know what rough shelf it's on. But you can't quite remember exactly which one it is, but you're able to kind of go over and do a little bit of sifting through. And you do find the tome. And you start rifling through it. Give me another Arcana check. See what
Another Arcana check.
Or if you want, we'll make this. We'll do this kind of like a skill challenge. Give me another Arcana or History check. We'll let you pick to try and sift through what you're trying to find. I think your modifier is probably the same because of how you
plus 10 either way. And that was an 18, so 28.
So yeah, you grab the book. That appears to be, this one looks like Thalia. It's been published and printed. But as he's kind of sifting through, you're noticing pages to deities that you do not recognize. Shuffling through, demon. And you find there's probably 5 or 6 candidates that, aside from like the major powers, like the major pantheons could hypothetically fuck around with this, but most of their power is tied to the material planes or the planes where they are worshipped mostly. Here in the Crossways, there's not a lot of stuff with power in this place because there's not much in this place. But major, like, top tier deities could reach out and reach across with a lot of effort to do it. It is not a simple investment, but you do also come across Thalia with what's your passive perception again? Is it like a 29?
21.
21. Do you want to try and eavesdrop on him as he's looking through his book?
Mildly, yes.
If you would like to, you could roll
passive.
You want to roll your passive, or do you want to try and do better?
I'll just do my passive.
Okay.
Is that like you catch yourself and you're like, nope, sorry.
You're looking at all these books. You do notice that one of the Dink, as you're going through and flipping through and writing stuff down, Thalia, you do catch, among other things, Auntie and a 3-headed deity goddess. And you recognize with a 21, you recognize Umshara's face in the rough sketching of this. But also the heads of her sisters are almost like merged together in an interesting way. Now, the other one, the much shorter list, is who's trying to fuck with you, Ding.
Yes.
That is a different book entirely.
I feel like that's a list I keep in my pocket.
Correct. That is nice.
Now that I know who it could be, I'm just gonna pull this list out of like my breast pocket.
Pulling it out of the breast pocket of your robe. And the lists, you haven't fucked around with most of any of the major deities on the material plane. You've been gone too long.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who would have tried, if somebody's deciding now to come after you for an old grudge, they aren't very prompt about it, which annoys you to some extent. But having running through that list, there is a lot of crossover. One of the big ones are one of the major demons out of the abyss that you took an accordion from many years ago. And
you know that accordion well.
And an archdevil who passes herself off as humanoid, throws lots of parties, enjoys music, never really trusted her. And of course, the Three Fates, because and other capital B big powers.
Yeah.
But there's very little crossover from a lot of those big guys. Mostly the Three Fates, the Archdevil and the Archdemon. The Celestial dropping somebody in your house is not something that a Celestial would do. That doesn't seem sensible.
Mm-hmm.
Unless this is a ploy to get you out of the house. But if you would like to roll an insight check to see how much that holds water.
Sure. Let's see. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. That thought runs through your head.
Mm-hmm.
You look over at Thalia. Thalia, what are you doing in this moment?
Genuinely, like, admiring all of the library, just like in awe, like.
Yeah, she doesn't look like an assassin.
She's not trying to get me out of the house. That doesn't track.
You're saying that out loud, correct?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Might not mean to, but absolutely.
What? Sorry. This is a beautiful library, Jeff.
Thank you. Don't look too close.
Oh, okay.
What? You say you just fell in, but I mean, what? Were you just sitting around having some breakfast and dropped into my house, or it's not usually how that works.
I was exiting one, I'm assuming, dimension of existence and returning to the material plane. I'm assuming a personal, but I could be wrong on that. And returning to the material plane. And then I got yanked.
You got yanked?
Yeah, the transit.
Did you see anything else?
Heard.
Interesting.
They go by Pip in the material plane. Well, that's the name that has been given to an associate of mine. Green eyes. Warned me of unlucky things coming my way, and then I heard their voice again saying how unlucky it was, and then I started falling.
Does that track with any of the three I've narrowed this down to?
No.
Well, shit. That doesn't sound right.
I'm gonna be honest. I see a glimpse. There's two entities that I know in that book. Sorry, I didn't mean to look, but the picture caught my eye when I was looking around.
Which two?
That one and that one, and she'll point to the Archdemon and the Fates. That one, my friend has ties to, and we've been to her plane, or we've been to her soiree once. I think we're on good terms with her. She did help us at the wedding. And then that one, I was just leaving their existence, like their pocket. That's where I was leaving from. After completing a deal. I had a deal and then I completed the deal. So we left on, let's go with neutral terms? Neutral, I think. That might be generous, but neutral.
I swear every time. I'm gonna put the book back and just be like, I need something stronger, and like start heading towards the kitchen. He's gonna go get himself something stronger to drink, because this is some bullshit.
Okay. Thalia, is there anything you want to peek at while he's out of the room?
No, he said not to look at the books.
Excellent.
Not too closely. So she's not looking closely, but she's still looking.
Still peeking around the room. As you're kind of looking around, you notice there are other artifacts, also in cases.
We look, but we do not touch. Hands behind the back.
There are 5 of them on this first floor, as they're with various kind of accoutrements in them. There's one that just looks like almost like a large gem, probably about a foot across. There is one that is just like a very old, battered book. Unlike every other book in this library, this one looks beaten and used. There is a sword in a case that has a very unsettling kind of sheen to it, almost as if the blade is not real. But it is resting on this wooden rest in this case, just like a normal sword would. There are a pair of crossed bracers resting in a very small box. And another, you find a quill. This one looks to be mixed with red and gold and black. And is just resting on its point in this glass case with nothing around it. Is there one you want to look at before he comes back?
The quill.
Okay.
Does it look familiar to the one I have?
No.
Okay.
It is exquisitely crafted. And as you get closer, you realize that like this thing, just from the look of it, because as you get closer you notice like the feathers are kind of waving in the breeze, in this invisible breeze a little bit. Clearly magical, but you cannot feel any magic coming through the box. This thing is locked up tight.
Yeah, I've probably seen that before.
Not to this degree.
Okay. This
and
is
not to
above
this
what I'm...
level of skill, because
Okay.
thinking back to other things, Azora's pearl is locked behind 5 layers of different enchantment and trapping it in so it cannot psychically link with someone. This looks to be just thick glass. And if you would like to roll an Arcana check to see if you can learn more about the spells on it.
Sorry, yes, sir.
I said if you'd like to. You could always be like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to fuck with that and go away.
I do, but I'm not happy with my roll. Well, it's a 3, so it's a 4.
I was going to say, I believe you still have inspiration.
I burned it last week.
Damn.
Yeah. So 14.
14. Okay, so you are looking at this, and it is wildly precise. It is very, very, like, all of the etching into this glass was done with either a very, very fine set of tools or not done by hand at all. But the etchings and the magics pinning this thing in place are pristine, and you're kind of trying to get a read on it, and that is when, Dink, you come back in with your stronger drink.
Yes. So I'm gonna come back in with a bottle and one very nice glass, and then one glass that looks like it may have just been a can at one point, but has been turned into a glass because he realized maybe he should offer.
Better than just like a paper cup, you know?
Yeah, like
Just grab a paper cup from the bathroom on the way home.
Yeah, so come in, set everything down, and be like, apologies for the not so courteous greeting. I'm
Sorry.
not used to company. He's gonna pour himself a drink and be like, would you like?
Sure.
Cool. Oh, pour into the can for you and hand you the can.
What is it?
You're not entirely sure. He's not entirely sure. He just knows it's good.
I think, can I roll to be like, is this liquor or what? Like, do I know? Because I know rum.
You Ding, where'd you get this? And I'm assuming it is some kind of alcohol.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of an alcohol created from the essence of what's around him. Like he didn't grab this off of the plains. It came from here.
Ooh.
Which is why he's like, I don't know what this is. I just know it's good.
Oh, thank you.
Oh no. Thalia, can I get a Constitution saving throw real quick?
Oh, okay.
Oh no. This is gonna be
17.
okay. It tastes quite literally like nothing you've ever had. It is not trying to pin words on it. It makes it harder to describe, and it is just Ding as he tosses his back and is just like kind of relaxing into it a little bit. Definitely not the sort of thing you're supposed to be like, this tastes of delicious notes of things, because as you try to like narrow down and apply what you know about alcohol to it, it squirms and slithers out of your mental grasp.
Okay, so time to forget.
It's
okay, so we're not just gonna read books and sip rosé or something all day.
Would I notice that, like, are you obviously trying to kind of think through this and mildly confused by it, or?
You can tell she's trying to think through it, but then she just like pings it as like, okay, this is something beyond, and she just goes with it. So there's like a brief second you see that loading, and then acceptance.
You did well with that. It tastes better the less you think about it. Now, do you know where you are?
No.
Great. Glad I asked. You are between the drywall of plains. You are in, oh God, what do your people call it? The astral sea. You are in the astral sea.
Really?
Yes.
Never thought I'd get to see it.
Thing's gonna kind of wave towards one of the walls, and the bookcases shift, and a window just opens up for you, so you can look out.
She steps towards it, glass in hand, takes another sip.
Ding, what's the view outside your side window? Or front window? It's your house, you can make it whatever side you want.
Well, nearby you could tell we're on something very large that looks like it was maybe alive at some time, but you're not sure. But past that, it's just this swirling ocean of just colors and shimmers and like starlight. And it's every time you look at it and try to figure it out, it's like you can almost grasp it, and then it slips away again. It becomes something else. And out there in this vast nothingness, you see little like bits of things, like a cup over here, you know, somebody's wooden peg leg over there. You see a warforged floating along out in this ocean, but nothing is connected. They're just kind of floating.
She's gonna look until you talk to her again.
Well, you've seen it. Now we need to get you home.
Oh, sorry, it's beautiful.
It does have a beauty. I'm certainly fond of it. But you shouldn't be here. Hell, I shouldn't be here, but this is my home, so I'm here. So, let's see if we can find a way to get you home.
How long have you been here?
I don't know. What year is it?
I hate that you asked that question. That question gets asked, and everyone's like, "That's
It's in here somewhere.
That's the. Is that the "Are you sure" of this fucking campaign? Is what year is it?
We have these?
Immediately after asking that, he's gonna look down and be like, "Wait, what year was it? How was it? A while. I've been here a while."
Okay, hold on a minute. Nope. That's the name. Where is it? I had it. I swore I had it in this notebook somewhere.
Hold on.
Here it is. Help.
checking the lore book.
It's in the other lore book, maybe.
It's in the other lore book.
I did not mean to cause this.
You come on, you guest on the stream and you derail everything with a simple question I should have an answer to.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Devin, vamp while we're looking.
Great. Ding is as you're searching for this answer, Ding is kind of talking to himself and just like, I don't know, what year was it when I left? How old am I? And he's just gonna kind of stare at his hands for a while and be like, oh god, I'm old. When did that happen? Oh.
And actually looking down at your hands, you're like, oh god, I'm old. When did that happen? And asking it like a query, your mind kind of snaps back, and I'm gonna make you use your keen mind feat. And you're like, oh
Okay.
yeah, I've been here for 40 years, 6 months, and 18 days. There's your answer.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, sudden brain blast, burst of knowledge. Just, I've been here 40 years, at least 40 years by my counting.
Oh. Wow. Where is this? This is gonna drive me crazy. Every time it comes up, I write it in my notebook, so I don't have to go back.
It should be in there like 4 times.
Should be. And starred, because it's important.
You can find it on break.
Alright, no, but the guest demands an answer! The guest asked, and I don't know it.
Oh god.
Right, maybe it's in the very back.
980.
I was gonna go with 7 something. Might be 980.
As Thalia is continuing to stare out into the starfield,
Alright, giving up.
into the astral sea,
That's enough of that.
you notice something.
Yes.
The small of her back. Can I get an Arcana check from you, please?
Sure thing. That was a nat 1. Boy, that sure is a thing.
Yeah, they're like her the way like her purple kind of tunic is resting. There's like something almost poking out of it. Like you could spot it. You have no idea what it is, but it's poking out a little bit, and then it just kind of disappears into nothing.
It is. Am I able to grab it?
Like,
are
you going to go up and try and grab it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go up and try to reach out and grab it, and you watch as your hand just kind of like sort of phases through it. And as you've gotten closer and you're kind of taking a look at it, what's your passive investigation? What's your passive?
Passive investigation would be 20.
20. And that's, you look closer and you go, oh, okay. She is not like you. She's not entirely here in body. This is her. This would be where the silver thread is. The thread that tethers things between realities.
Yeah.
If you astral project into the astral sea, there's the silver. You know, they told you all about it in school. If you ever, ever dream walking, if you're ever walking in the astral sea, protect your tether. because if that gets cut, you are dead. Her tether does not look like any of the ones you remember seeing. Instead of being a single silver thread, it is multiple threads, twisted and weaved together like yarn.
Huh. Well, that's...
And it is not also just like dangling. Normally they have a little bit of a dangle to it. They have some slack.
Mhm.
This one is stiff. This one is taut and pulling in a direction. Right now it is pulling towards you.
He's gonna I'm gonna step to the side and see if I can gauge which direction it's trying to head in, and how much it, like, am I able to see it continuing on faintly, or does it just kind of fade out after a certain distance?
It fades out a little bit outside of the range of her clothing.
Okay.
So with your current eyes, you can't really get a read on it, but where you're standing, it is traveling directly away from this window. And you just get a real rough compass point of the direction it's going.
Interesting. Can I activate the third eye?
Sure. Which one are you liking to do?
I think I just get all three. I gain dark vision to 60 feet, can see into the ethereal plane within 60 feet, can read any language, and see invisible creatures and objects within 10 feet.
Choose one of the following benefits, which lasts until you are incapacitated or take a long or short rest. That would be busted if you got all of them.
Oh, yes. I can read.
I'm the least educated person on this stream right now. This is wild. So yeah, either with your knowledge of ethereal sight, or with your knowledge of this place, ethereal sight or invisibility. See, invisibility would work and prevent you from necessarily getting too much extra clutter in the space, but ethereal sight would get you, would give you a longer lead on where this is going. Oh, I don't know if his Discord froze. Or he's very still. I think we lost him. One moment.
So, what year is this? What year are we at? It's somewhere here.
I just have a note that says Big Billy Crystal, and I don't know what it means.
Oh god.
I can't believe...
Damage tracker. From the avalanche.
Real quick, we're gonna throw to a quick break moment because we've lost Devin. His internet does not want him to know what year this game is taking place in. So we'll be right back in just a moment. Good evening, lords and ladies. We're back. Sorry for the temporary hiccups on the technical side.
Just decided.
Just like, no.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. You're having too much fun. We need to...
No. Joy, not in
need
this
to
economy.
pause.
Like, no.
No. Were you getting dopamine?
Oh, no. Oh,
How
no.
dare you?
No, let me take that back.
You thought things were going smoothly. Anyway.
Let me put you back down in your place.
Anyway, I believe
Where
I
was the
gonna
last thing
activate
you
the third
heard
eye.
before you froze?
I was going to activate the third eye, and you asked me which one.
Let's rewind that sentence back.
I think it was either you could do invisibility and have a more...
So you could see invisibility for 10 feet and have a little more control over it, or you can see the
Less
ethereal
clutter.
plane and there will be more nonsense.
But a longer range. Like you would see further.
Ding is a nonsense, so ethereal.
Yes. Ding is, oh god, already having a great time. So yes, you'll see into the ethereal. What does that look like? What does it look like to the outsider when you open your third eye? Because I feel like you don't care what it looks like to you, but what does Rachel see?
Yeah.
Thalia.
Oh, like
What does Thalia see? Yeah, or does it look like?
If she turned around.
If you were to look, like focus on the magic around Ding's body or the mana, you would notice it focused kind of up near the center of his head. Otherwise, it just kind of looks like he's frowning. Like he went from staring to staring. And that's about all you can see
It's a
without
capital-
actually.
Capital S staring.
Yes, yeah.
He got that shimmery eyeshadow.
Absolutely. Just a little furrowed brow.
Squinting.
Just looks yeah. Looks a little grumpier. Looks like he may need to find some glasses.
Oh no, he's nearsighted. So Ding, as you just kind of pull the energy up and open your third eye up to seeing the world and seeing the ethereal plane around you. You've gotten used to all of the spiritual flotsam and jetsam around here. And you as per usual, you see people calling out for help, wondering where they are. You see folks just trudging on their day-to-day, apparently commuting between the planes. You never quite figure that out, but they left you alone, so you left them alone. But you see...
I mean, they don't drop into my house, so...
If they're walking through your house right now, but they don't puke in a bucket. They don't
Away
ask
from the books.
They don't ask for a bucket. If these guys asked for a bucket, you would have done something about it by now. But you see again those threads, the silvery threads you're used to, pulling sort of from multiple places and converging together and twisting together again like yarn. And you watch as it sort of spirals out in this long thread, this long spindle of yarn, through the wall on the other side. Wherever this thread is pulling, it is not here.
Interesting. Do I know what would be in that direction in the astral sea? As much as direction ever makes sense in the astral sea.
Roll me history.
History? Okay.
Yeah.
That is dirty 20.
Dirty 20. That direction is leading away from the colors and away from some of the more familiar sights that you're accustomed to see. Like when you open up your window, you're looking and you can see, look, there are the four elemental planes doing their weird, intricate dance, like way off in the distance. You can see the spaces between. You can see the material plane. It's kind of boring. It's not great to look at, but every once in a while, you get nostalgic and remember, oh, that used to be home. Yeah, whatever.
Right.
But this is pulling away from that. This is pulled further out from
Like into the
things.
deep parts of
Into more of the blackness, more of the darkness, the untamed and untracked wilds of the astral sea. Here there be way worse things than dragons.
Well, that's not. Usually I would say we should follow it, but that's...
Oh, what? Sorry, I zoned out. By the way, it's the year 987.
Oh, good. Still don't know what year I left, but I've been here 40 years.
947 then.
Well, 40 years by my count. I don't... Time is subjective.
It's a weird soup.
True. Very true. Now I want soup. Anyway, how much do you know about astral projection and the silver thread?
How much do I know?
History check. Or
Nat
Arcana.
20
Oh,
for,
beautiful.
for a 31.
Nice.
Lore bards, man.
And that's not my highest.
Lore bards, man.
Oh,
Thalia. You immediately remember Bard College. Sitting down with Tay and your friends, all hanging out. Tay's not paying attention. But you are, because you're a good student, and you know what's going on. And you enjoy this professor. And talking of... it was a performance class on performing works with syllables you cannot pronounce. And how to perform them without offending people. It was really the topic of the day. And part of this professor's ideology was go to the place. If you can, go and learn from someone there, because they will teach you the least offensive way to do it. Because you will offend someone, but if you learn from the best, you will do the best you can. And in that conversation, there was a brief, 20-minute diatribe about astral projection, traveling between the planes, not through a teleportation, not through a high-powered means. Essentially kind of the public commuting, the hitchhiking to get from plane to plane. That silver, of the silver thread. That is a continuous... Every single wizard was warned about the silver thread. If you ever have a silver thread coming out of your body, protect it with your life, because if that is cut, your soul, your essence is cut loose from your physical form and set adrift in the astral sea, never to be recovered again without some really, really powerful friends. It is one of those things that once you started teleporting, you never really thought about it. Once you started working for the Brotherhood, they could just jump you places. You never had to worry about traveling that way. And in your trips with the Ashe and Shade, also not a real problem. But now you are, in essence, in an ocean where if the wrong thing takes a bite, doesn't matter where your body is, you're gone.
Wait, so I'm not here. But I'm here? But I'm here. But I'm there.
pretty much, yeah.
Oh, Atrax is gonna be pissed. Sorry,
But
my
the thing-
boss. He was traveling with me. I think he made it out okay.
Sounds like a dick. But
Why does everyone keep saying that? He's really nice.
Devin,
Hey, Curtis.
inspiration for the throwback point. Thank you. You did your homework. Anyway.
Have I ever left the quill in Atronix's office?
I'll leave that up to you.
I'm gonna say I have at one point. Dig's gonna take a second and be like, wait, Atronix, isn't he the one that... and then he's just gonna go back to what he was doing. So
Okay, so where's the threat? Where's the threat? I'm supposed to protect it. Where is that?
Ding is, without really looking back at you, because he's still staring at where the thread is, he's going to take his staff and kind of thwack you in the back where it's coming out.
Thalia, as you turn and kind of are looking around for it, Ding, you kind of reach out and you thwack the cord. And out of the corner of your eye, you notice that as Thalia has turned, the cord is no longer behind her. The cord has remained in position and she has turned within it. Almost.
Oh.
So now
So it's almost like it's tied around her.
You see the sort of the branching out individual strands connecting being shoulder, hip,
Yeah.
and sort of in the middle of her back. But as she turns, those connecting points stay in place as she turns. As she is moving,
Interesting.
those connecting points are rotating and keeping the minimum distance. They are not twisting around her. They are not moving around her as she moves. They are maintaining this connection.
Interesting. Ooh. So, judging by your response, I take it you're familiar with the silver cord. But
Yeah, I've never actually experienced it, but like I studied it a bit.
all right. Well, usually, when a soul is on the astral plane, the cord will lead you back home, and it's usually just one thin strand, almost like spider silk, coming out of your back, heading back to your body, back to your home. Your home is that way, and he's gonna point with his staff, and he goes, and you have, how many threads is it? Like 5?
It's like 5 or 6. Yeah.
5 or 6. And he's like, and you have 5 threads going that way. Which is unusual. Do I know of anything that would cause that? Or that could result in something like that, and specifically something that would result in threads to the joints like that, like to the shoulders, and like, because it almost seems like puppet strings in a way.
Not without a roll.
Okay.
If you would like to roll, Arcana.
That is 25.
25. You've never heard of this before. You've never there are plenty, like, one of the things about living in the astral sea is, to put it bluntly, shit's weird. This is something that you're thinking about the puppet strings. You're thinking about how they are like almost like they sort of disappear into the body and stay in these relative positions when they move. It doesn't seem controlling, though. As she's kind of moving and gesturing, the lines are not resisting. They are maintaining tension, but they're not resisting. There is something in that connection, that tethering, that makes you think these are lifelines. Like if you having a sailor at sea tying at least 2 places. So if one cord is cut, it is not the end. So reviewing the facts. A stranger dumped in your house, where she should not be. It should not be able to enter without your permission. With multiple lifeline threads leading off into the emptiest parts of the sea. And she doesn't know much about it either.
God damn it. Guess I am leaving my house. Gotta go get my walking boots. And as he says that, he's just gonna kind of step forward, and the slippers he's wearing just turn into boots.
Wait, didn't you just say we shouldn't follow? I'm terribly sorry.
There's a lot of things we shouldn't do. Being here are things we shouldn't do.
But I mean, you made a beautiful library and home for yourself.
Nah,
I can see why you don't want to leave.
it's fine. I can put it back together later.
It'll disappear if you leave?
I mean, sort of. It's all in here. And he kind of bonks himself with his staff. And he kind of like waves at the house, and the door that was there suddenly like grows and expands and like moves out, and you just see the rooms and everything shifting around. And it's almost like everything is moving and sliding out of the way except for one headless Warforged body next to a door that's wearing what looks like a poncho and is in a captain's pose with a guitar. So like that stays there right next to the door, and everything else kind of shifts and makes space, making an exit out the way where the threads are going.
So, I'm afraid I'm at a bit of a loss here. What do you suggest we do?
Well, best option seems to be to follow the threads and figure out why somebody is so very concerned with keeping you tied to wherever it's leading us. Because if I want to get you home, I gotta get you untied from that first.
Were we... Do you think I was... You make it sound like I'm not supposed to be here. Do you think something wanted us to meet?
Could be. Could be somebody just wanted to piss me off. Could be somebody just wanted to mess up your day. It's hard to say, really.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'll follow. You're not Hag, right? Can I trust you with my name?
What? Yeah, no. I'm not.
Okay.
Do I look like a hag? No, I'm Ding.
I don't touch appearances. Never assume.
Well,
That's gotten a lot of my friends in trouble. Lots of them.
I suppose that's fair. No, I'm not a hag. Just a human.
Oh,
Was
okay.
just a human. I don't know. I've been here a while. It does things to you. But I'm not a hag.
Okay. I'm Thalia.
Pleasure to meet you, Thalia. Let's
What's your name?
see if... Oh. Boy, my manners are the worst, aren't they? I'm Ding. I wasn't good with people when I was around people, and it's been a while, so apologies for the rough edges.
It's fine.
And before Ding leaves, he's gonna walk over to the case with the quill and just reach into it. As he reaches towards it, the glass just like vanishes, and he grabs the quill and tucks it into his robe. And kind of settles it back around himself and goes, "Feel like somebody needs that," and starts stumping his way down this new hallway.
I will follow.
What is the best way for us to traverse through the astral sea?
That's a follow-up question for you. How does Ding
Yes.
get around? When he makes his occasional jaunts off of the corpse where he has made his home.
Yeah. The way I see it is, so like this house is just constructed by Ding, essentially. It's all in his head and using magic to some extent, but basically he has carved out this piece of the astral sea for himself, and he has given it structure where there wasn't really any to begin with. So as he is moving through the sea, I just imagine he lays out a road for himself as he goes. So he just kind of, a road appears in front of him as he's walking.
Yeah. Moving through the astral sea is all about intentions and maintaining. You're kind of thinking yourself towards that direction, towards that location.
Yeah.
It still takes time to shape, because this is a formless space where shapes and distances are all entirely hypothetical. You're able to, generating a road like that, and almost imagining yourself covering that kind of distance and moving smoothly and steadily will chew through that distance. There are Thalia, also with your natural 20, you do know there are things in the astral sea. There are pirates in the astral sea. There are entities. There are things that have exist again in these sort of places between. And as you are walking along this road that Ding is making, is it a country road? Is it a city road? What kind of road is it, Ding? Also, you were in the same pose you were when your computer crashed, and I thought you lost it. I thought we lost you twice.
Yeah, no, I was looking at the character sheet. Apologies. No, you did not lose me again. It is a cobblestone road.
Okay.
Just like old cobbles. Very old looking cobbles, or at least an old style of cobble.
Okay. As you are walking, and the road extends probably 10 feet in front of you and 10 feet back, and you're just moving along this constantly appearing and disappearing chunk of roadway. Thalia, if you were to glance back as you're walking around and taking in the sights of the astral sea, you get a better glimpse of this thing that Ding had built his house on. And you mostly see it's kind of on what looks like a brow ridge, almost like a cliff. And as you get further and further away, you realize that there are 3 eyes on each side of this brow ridge, this sort of angled point, and a massive jaw kind of hanging open with teeth that would fill Durganfor from floor to ceiling. And sort of fading off into the distance, enormous pincers, like a crab. But remembering, like, just absolutely colossal pincers that could crush buildings. And Ding has built his house on its head. Is there anything you'd like to do? And also, Ding, is your house collapsing as you walk away, or is it maintaining?
I imagine it's kind of like the road ahead just keeps appearing. If you look ahead, once we've exited the house, when you look back, it's just not there. Okay. Like, it didn't collapse or like anything like that. There's no residue. It's just gone. Yeah.
Okay. Thalia, anything you want to do as you start your hike?
I mean, she's looking around at first. Eventually she'll like kind of focus on Tang and just be like, not sure to break the silence. Like, she has questions, but he's clearly like focused. She doesn't want to interrupt the spell cast, like any of the magic crafting, because that's her little ride right now. So she's just kind of like making the list of questions in her head, waiting for him to talk.
Ding, whether or not you notice that is entirely up to you.
She's slightly behind you. Like, she's always slightly behind you. Never walking right up next to you.
After a while, Ding is going to suddenly remember there's another person here with him. And have that, like, oh shit moment of, I need to interact. And he's going to kind of turn around and be like, so, you a bard? And kind of motion at the bagpipes sticking up over your shoulder.
Yeah, my specialty is in like history and tale and artifact retrieval a little bit. I think that's my current. I don't know. Yeah, I'm good at taking down. Lately, I've been involved in a couple of historical important events, so I'm kind of notating that.
Well, you were just having a conversation with the sisters, so that tracks.
That's kind of like the 4th big entity I've talked with at this point in the last 6 months.
as you say that, like the road where Ding is placing his feet doesn't quite appear for him, and he kind of stumbles and then catches himself and mutters something about damn kids. Like
hence the like stress vomiting. Because I've managed to like figure out how to hold myself together. And then until we're like past that, and then we just get stressed for a minute. But we're fine. We're fine.
I mean,
It's happened.
I suppose I've seen
I guess
worse
people tell me
coping.
that's strange that I've met with these big figures at this point. The Brotherhood isn't quite sure what to do with that. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's
probably
definitely
not fine, is it?
Fine is subjective. You're alive, so it's fine.
Yeah. That's it.
Ding's gonna kind of like wave at the space rat and be like, it's like being here. The less you think about it, the better. If you think it's fine, it's fine. Makes life go by.
It's true. What about you? You seem magically inclined.
Oh, I suppose I was
But that
I was going to
library-
wizard college before I found myself here.
Fine.
Divination school, specifically. I didn't much like the present, so I thought the future might be better. And then I found
Let's
this.
Looks like two people who maybe shouldn't have been talking to some bigger powers, maybe.
Yeah, they're not so bad once you get to know them.
Right? That's kind of what I've been picking up.
Yeah,
Like chaos? Not bad.
yeah.
Point of
Can't wait to
order.
have that.
When she says, chaos, with your just understanding of history in this place, in the beginning, there were two things, and chaos was one of them.
Chaos.
Capital C, like, entropy. She just said, yeah, I hung out with entropy last week. Like,
I'm
Yeah,
looking forward
that's-
to having a follow-up chat with them.
that's the level of, like, what the fuck?
At that, Dick just like full stops and has a moment and be like, "You spoke with chaos."
Yeah.
God, I'm old.
At this point, I feel like in the Astral Sea, I feel like at this point I might as well just put my cards on the table so you know what kind of crazy might pop up.
Well, I kind of figured when I have to go into the sea like this, it's never an easy trip.
I'm sorry.
It happens.
I'd say
Things
I
happen.
didn't mean for it to happen, but I think we both know that
That's-
that's the truth.
No, nobody comes here on purpose.
Did you?
Not at first, but I liked it. It's quiet. Gives me
Do you have a tether?
is no. I am here, body and soul. This is my place. I suppose the house is kind of like a tether, but not really. I stumbled upon it on accident. I was just looking for a way to get away, you know? People suck.
I'm glad you found it.
So am I. Once I got here, I found it interesting. There's just,
It's fascinating.
yeah. Figured there's some dangerous things out here, and somebody should take care of it, you know?
Well, if there's anything I can bring back, notes wise or information wise that you think we on the material plane should know, Just,
Oh,
let me know. I'll take some notes.
no.
Or things I shouldn't tell. I can't promise how
Probably
much I won't
most
tell,
of it.
but like, if there's things I definitely shouldn't tell for like the good of, existence, let me know. I like telling the truth most time, but this kind of
Truth is
stuff
what you
I've
make it.
learned you don't.
Yeah, the truth is what you make it. And honestly, the material plane probably doesn't need to know about most of this. Most of the things here are lost for a reason. Definitely don't tell them about me. Then they'll want to talk to me. I don't want to talk to them.
She'll raise an eyebrow and just keep walking.
Is there anything around us as we're making our way here?
You're making good headway
Mm-hmm.
through this conversation. After the stumble, after realizing that you are talking to someone who has communed with one of the primal forces of creation, and just kind of sitting in that for a second and then moving past it because you don't want to sit in it anymore.
Less you think about it, the better.
Yeah, keeps you happy. You are moving away from the coruscating lights. You are moving away from the light of existence and all the things that are real. You are entering sort of more of the twilight. You are seeing out in front of you there is less swirl, there is less color.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not that there's a wall, it is just further emptiness. Can I get a pair of perception checks? Can I get one from each of you, please?
Okay. Let's give it that one. 13.
Perception? 28.
As you are cruising right along, Ding, your brain's a little focused on keeping the walkway intact. But Thalia, you are in that silence after talking, sort of reveling in it a little bit and looking around. And with a 28 off to your right a little bit, you see you see what looks like an aberration in the colors. Almost like there's a texture to it that doesn't quite work with the sort of timelessness and emptiness of it. You suddenly have an ability to gauge distance on something. And it looks like it is reflecting some of the swirling colors, but it doesn't have color itself. Off to your right, probably 3,000 feet away.
I'll point that out to Ding.
That's something.
Something to not think about or to think about?
What do I know? Like, what does this look like to me?
Roll perception with advantage.
Advantage.
Or nature if you've got it. I'd give you nature.
Yeah, absolutely. With advantage still, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
This is your ballpark. This is your backyard.
17 both times, so 22.
That is the corpse of something out this far. Large enough to be noticed at this distance. It is the corpse of a very large astral beastie. You're not really able to tell until you get closer.
Mm-hmm.
But that sort of shimmering, the fact that it's hard to sort of pin down, could be any number of things. most of them aren't pleasant, but this is most likely dead. Because since it can mimic its environment so well, there's a couple of things that might do it. Could be any number of really unpleasant things, but it's probably dead. And might be whatever killed it might be a problem. Actually, with a 17, we can narrow it down to 3 things.
17 was the base roll. 22 was
22.
with...
22.
Yeah.
You'll narrow it down to 2 things.
Okay.
This is was either an astral dragon or a spectral leviathan.
But I'm pretty sure it's dead.
The fact that you spotted it?
Yeah.
It's either lazy or dead.
And Thalia, you had asked if it was a thing to think about or a thing to not think about. It's either lazy or dead. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
I am now, however, very much keeping an eye out for whatever may have killed it.
Okay. I mean, you're not... Your path sort of is running... probably like 30 degrees off from it. So it's like at your like 1 o'clock as you're walking along this pathway, still following that tether, which again, as you continue to walk, that tether remains taut.
Yeah. I would just keep following the tether, because while that's curious, because not many things I imagine could kill that, that's a whole lot of not my problem right now. My problem is figuring out where these tethers are, so
okay,
that's Ding's priority.
Okay. As you walk past Thalia, you get the first glimpse at this thing. Your eye wants to slip away from it, and you just notice a very long, sinuous body shape that your eyes don't want to stick onto. It's hard to tell what is head and what is tails. But what kind of gave it away is there are irregularities that you can now spot as you get closer. There are burn marks of some kind. There is... Even from a distance, you are seeing like large swaths of just like what looks like soot or ash or something against the side of this. But as you all keep walking, that fades behind you, leaving you walking further and further into the darkness. And unless there's anything else you want to do, I think that'll be our break. Okay.
Nothing I can think of.
Hmm?
I said nothing I can think of.
Okay. I thought you were going to be like, I can think of a stupid joke. That's my thing. But no, we'll call it there. We'll take a break because Chris is waiting in the wings to come back for his little piece of the adventure. Devin, it's been a pleasure having you. We will see you.
Yeah.
We'll have you back next week, and it'll be the two of
Excellent.
you wandering through the astral sea, having a grand old time and causing a ruckus.
Oh boy.
Don't worry. This is like an actual one-shot thing. Like I promise, we'll figure it out next session. It'll be great. But yeah,
Are you sure?
Don't make me. Don't make me. Listen, I've run one-shots. They just take 4 hours. I want to avoid that as best I can. But yeah, Devin, thank you for coming on, and we will see you next week. Don't go too far away, audience. We'll do a short, quick jump off, and we'll be right back in just a second. Where is the OBS window? I'm doing so great. All right. We'll be back, friends. Take care. Bye. Hello, we're back. Hello. Listen, I did get an angry email from last week. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
If you want to know what we're talking about, the VOD will be up on YouTube, and you can take a gander at it. Hello, Chris. Welcome. Welcome back, buddy.
What's
Thanks
up,
for
man?
hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
This is a pretty nice place that's around here. You know,
a pretty nice house you're living in.
Yeah.
But no. So where did we leave off with Ronon and Lomey?
Oh, so
because I made Rachel do her recap, so now it's on you to do yours.
Okay. So Thalia was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go research stuff," and Ronan was like, "Hey, I'm gonna find Ed." And then we went to go find
less
Ed.
of the long detail. Give me what happened in the last 90 minutes last time we hung out last week.
The last 90 minutes. We went down to Durgamvor, which is behind the door under Korumvor. But now it's called the City of Steel, so that way it doesn't rhyme with any of those other words. And we were looking for the Artificer School. And then I punched a door. I found Pink Plume. Pink Plume was like, "Oh, tut, 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 I will take you there. Stomp, stomp, stomp." And then he went all the way there. And then he was like, "Hey, yo, talk to the guy." So then we went inside. And I was like, "Hey, yo, y'all got any big chickens?" And they're like, "Yo, we got all the chickens. You need to talk to the chicken people, who are, I can't say their name because, Atanya Nagel and Tarsi Gale." Is that right?
Hmm?
Cool. And we were like, "Cool, we'll do that." And then we went inside and they were like, "Fourth door, 2 times knock, 1 full spin, then go in." And Lomey was like, "Fuck that shit." And he just opened the door and a big fireball came out. And I was like, You messed up the car vending machine. And then we did the thing and then we opened the door and then it was there. Oh, then once we got inside, then we we split up for clues in this 4x4 cubicle. And we found some stuff in the garbage and we found some stuff in the not garbage. And the one thing in the garbage was the one person to the other person like, "Hey, yo, I found some spicy stuff over at the range. You should come hang out. You should come see what's poppin', what's fresh. My man, my homie G Smart person." Then the door was opening, and then a whirling dervish of blades came through the door and stabbed me. And I was like, "I cast Shatter at 9th level." And then DM said, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Well, I thought so, because they sounded scary." But apparently they weren't that scary. And then I turned Lomey invisible, which is the first time I've ever done that. Kind of weird for a barbarian. And then we talked to them and they're like, "Hey, we were sent to, the one is the Southern Harvey named Penny. Then there's a Fire Genasi, Raboldi, and then there's Rahan, the Dwarf Storm Cleric. And then Holbs, the Halfling, which seems to be the brains of the operation, that has the same short person voice as all the other short people. That he got on me. He was like, "You're racist to short people." I'm like, "No, it's the same voice as the other guy that was short that we met."
That's correct. That's on me. Being reductive. So yeah, you all caused a bit of a stir in the Artificing School and got out.
Oh yeah, I cast Bones of the Earth. I messed up all the floors.
Yeah, you kind of didn't quite earthquake, which is the only reason that building's still standing, but definitely caused several problems within the infrastructure. But y'all escaped out to one of the side cities with a couple of notes that you had taken from Gale's office. Gale and Nagel seem to have from what you picked up from a couple of other folks, Gale was the brains of the operation, Nagel was the actual constructor. There was the designer and the actual person who created these things, including these plans for the large equipment hauling chicken that you were looking at. And I believe when last we left off, Holmes was looking at a couple of pieces of documentation, holding up and held up a hidden piece of paper and another piece of paper that he had, and essentially said, "We have a problem."
Oh, yep, that's where we ended. I never found out the problem.
I like ending episodes on a cliffhanger. That's not much of a cliffhanger because it's like, great, there's a problem. We'll go deal with it next week. Give the DM time to think of the problem for this week. Yeah. So yeah, we'll pick up there. In this old smith's shop. Penny kind of takes his metal arm, slams on the table, clears some stuff away, and Holmes comes over and starts laying out pieces of paper and sort of not quite pinning them up on the wall like a crazy person with a red piece of string, but definitely
no, that's
things.
Blaze over in the soup kitchen.
He's putting out pieces, and he goes, I think this goes here. Yes, that'll go there. Because, he's like, right. And he kind of looks over Penny. We're working with them, right? We're cool with that? He goes, well,
I mean, we got those notes, so you should at least tell us what they say.
you got some of these notes. Penny's like, Holmes.
And I didn't squish you.
They
I'm
were helping.
old, and I didn't squish you.
The old man is helping, and his dragon's helping too. We'll pretend that if you can't be friends, at least pretend. At least until we're done. Holmes is like, well, all right. Spins around a couple of pieces of paper and goes, so, what do we know? Here are the facts. Gale, brilliant creator, wonderful artist, wonderful sketches of these things. Engineer, brilliant, needs someone to get the ideas. Nagel, flips over another piece of paper, terrible at the artist, get things, and has the ideas. From what we've figured out, Nagel created the idea of these chickens and helped Gale sort of come up with things on paper and nail things down and make sure that it was actually feasible and functional. But, and he pulls the piece of paper out of the trash, taps his finger on it. They had a problem with energy, with powering it for something longer than a day without having to recharge. And at that point, you might as well use an animal because you'll spend less on 3 horses than you would on one of these. You have to recharge it every day. What's the point? Now, the interesting part. And he pulls out another piece of paper, lays it down. I have several shipping receipts for moving cargo up and down the downspout outside the city. All the cargo there is tracked and processed through. There is several shipments here signed by Nagel that he refused inspection on, and that had to be notated in the logbooks. Now, you may be wondering why I don't have copies of those logbook pages. Because I saw them, and when I went back to go gather them as evidence, they had been torn out.
Insight check.
Sure.
Were they really torn out? Did they really see them? Oh, but I'm not at advantage because I'm at disadvantage, so I'll just reroll. That is a 2. 2 plus 0.
Strong opening gauntlet. If you want to... was that a disadvantage or was that just a straight roll? Or yeah,
that I originally did advantage and I didn't look at it, so I just did a straight roll.
You kind of start like, I'll leave that up to you. How does Ronan feel about it? Because you can't get a read on him.
He's lying.
As you kind of lean forward,
he's part of it.
Lomey
I punch him. No, not really.
Lomey like puts his hand, like you start to kind of lean forward and like shift your weight on Fulcrum, and Lomey puts his hand on your shoulder. Goes, no, don't smash. I think he's telling the
pass.
truth. Inspiration.
Yay!
Lomey rolled
Been
a
here
natural
for 10
20 on
minutes.
his insight check.
Oh.
So he's like, no, I think he's telling the truth. Also,
That's the same number that I rolled, except there's a 0 after it.
no, they just switched where the 0 and the 2 were.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's backwards. It's backwards 20.
Yep.
But he's like, also, that would explain why it would make... Penny goes, well, that would make sense if he's got friends in the guards, because I would explain how he's able to move things around and have other people tear pages out for him. And Ronan, did you tell them what your bit of the adventure was? I can't tell if you were recapping to me or to them. If not, tell me if you've told them.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because the most I've said is
Who
that
are you? Don't stab
our
me,
friend
and-
Ed was abducted by people who had a giant chicken,
Okay.
and we think it was these people. I
Okay.
don't think I went through the whole
Gotcha.
Kitten Kabu Dale.
Got you. I don't like that pronunciation, by the way. That makes me viscerally uncomfortable.
The Kabu Dale.
The Kabu
It's from
Dale.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
So Penny goes, all right, well, so he's got friends in the guards who would cover for him. That makes sense. So he can move stuff in and out without getting flagged on him. That seems a little sloppy to take the whole page.
Is that friends in the guard of Durganvor or Korumvor?
Flips through. Well, it's technically of Durganvor because the downspout is outside of Korumvor's city limits. It was, from what I've read, King Robbie anticipated that as in case we're ever at war with each other, I need a way to get things in and out of my city without having to ask for permission. every
Now,
time.
so that's the Durganvor guards, right?
Correct.
All the Durganvor guards have a Modron with them. So if any of them did anything suspicious, the Modrons would know about it.
Mm.
And I
That's-
happen to know some people with Modrons.
Well, we can certainly take a gander at that once. Let's see. Let's. That's a good idea, but let's hold on to that thought until Holmes is done, because he's about to get a real hit of steam, and there's really no stopping him once he gets going. Please continue. And he goes, "Thank you." Now, as I was saying, this pages have been ripped out. Things have been brought in and out of the city, and now, with no students having seen Nagel for several days, there is this letter, and he holds up the note telling Gale to come to the range. Now, presumably, if one were to continue this project and understand it, this would be the intent of, well, showing off their handiwork and seeing what they can do with it. But why wouldn't it be at the artificing school unless it's something dangerous that he's not supposed to have here? Now, I'm not entirely sure what kind of power source it is, but I was researching, snooping is the wrong word, doing a little bit of light reading in one of the professor's trash cans, and found an interesting piece of correspondence. Not fully burned, mind you. Quite lucky for me that the fire didn't quite turn the whole thing away. But yes, Professor Haddeman was talking with a Trayan.
That sounds really familiar.
Roll history move for me, buddy. Actually, history. What's your intelligence? What's your base intelligence?
0?
What's the actual
11.
number?
11.
Roll it at advantage.
So straight roll.
Straight roll, please. Because you've met this.
11.
You've met this motherfucker. You know this name's familiar. Yes, Mr. Trayan, who, well, he's claimed that he's created some kind of almost infinite power source, but he won't explain how.
Is this the dude in...
He attempted
the place-
to use it with, as an engine for a particular ship.
Fucking... the guy that I thought was this short guy. The other short guy.
Yes, Atreyan was the gentleman who engineered the motor of the Dragon's Diamond. The ship that you all had a really unfortunate adventure on.
Oh yeah, that motor was powered by an Ifrit stuck in it. I broke it, actually. We still have the Ifrit in a bottle.
And all the heads slowly turn towards you. And Ribaldi, still sitting there kind of with his like scarf pulled up to cover some of his fire genasi features, just kind of looks at you and goes, "Really?"
Mm-hmm. We let him out because we thought we were being nice, but then he tried to kill everybody, so then we put him back in the bottle.
What was his name?
I can hear the chanting of it. Oh boy, you're gonna make me go to the boat section? Death saves Tomb Spider.
I'm gonna make you roll a history check to see if Ronan remembers it, because this will be the second time I've sent you scurrying through your notes frantically. And I didn't intend for this to be the thing that happens today, but here we
10.
go.
You know, this notebook may have started post-boat.
You can't remember for the life of you what this dude's name is.
It's 2 syllables because it was chantable. What? You can't chant a 1-syllable name. 4?
It's a 4-syllable name.
Paradiddle.
Lamy can't remember it either.
Lamy is in a cult. Also, he's a warlock. Lamy had a dream.
Hi, audience. While they're looking through their notebooks, I'd
Yeah,
like to
this is
apologize for
post-vote.
this being kind of what happened with this particular session. I didn't intend it, but here we are.
Yeah, this notebook's post-boat. I'm screwed. Has a very nice note from Rachel in front of it, though.
So yeah, you neither you or Lamy can kind of remember, and Lamy's kind of like, I honestly don't really remember. We had a lot going on. Hope's gonna go. There's a genie. You're saying the power source is a djinn.
Was.
How long ago was this?
At least 1 notebook ago. IRL, 2 years.
2 years. In canon time, you were gone for 3 months.
4 months.
Yeah, 4 months or something. Interesting. If the djinn is still contained, Atreyan may have found another power source or another kind of entity to power it.
Excuse me 1 moment. Firo!
Why is he? Shh. Just let him do his thing. We don't get in the way when you do your thing. You hear Firo. Yeah. Yes, Ronan.
Why do you sound like Robbie?
I'm
old.
It's a thing I'm trying. What do you need?
You sound much more intimidating. Do you still have that genie in a bottle?
You don't have to sing it, but yes.
Oh, okay. It's still in there?
Hold on. 1 moment. Let me check. I'll call you back.
He's checking to make sure it's still in the bottle.
And as you're like, yeah. Well, all right, well. The point being, if he's done it once, he could do it again.
Hmm?
And I'm worried that, well, the letter seemed to be a little, pleading with Hardiman to use it in an experiment, and From what I could tell, Hardeman didn't seem very interested in it.
Hadamum?
Hardeman, one of the professors at the university. Hardeman did not seem interested. He said, and he pulls out this, like, burned piece of lettering. He's like, "No, I'm an artificer, not anyone concerned with ethics, but even I have... I think this says concerns. Even I have concerns about something like this. And the rest is all unnecessary. But, truth be told, if this is the problem, we need to, this could be very bad. If we know the entity inside the, engine, the energy, if we know the fuel source's name, then we can perhaps release it and send it home, but I'm concerned that some aspiring university students have taken it upon themselves to get a good grade by nefarious means. You hear over your earpiece, split second. Oh, that's better. Yes, Ronan, I do have it. It is in it's still with me.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Great. Yeah, I'll just be. Is there anything else? Or just
Where are you?
Oh, I'm in my workshop.
Where?
In Durganvor, in the castle.
I'm in Durganvor.
Oh. Well, that's
I should
nice.
come say hi.
You should. Where can I meet you? Just tell me where, and I'll meet you.
Right
My
now, I'm
workshop's
near
in
the
this.
artificing school, but we'll talk. We'll talk.
Oh, right.
Right
Yeah.
now, I'm trying to come to a murder mystery, and we all know how good I am at those.
Don't burn anyone's face off, and I'm sure it'll help.
That's your job. Okay, bye.
Just kind of looking at you taking the call. Lami's like, it's a thing he does.
Now, if I were a betting man, I'm old, but I can't figure out how to do the voice again.
That's fine. You could sound wizened in a different way.
If
Grizzled.
I were a betting man, I would say they're gonna put Yeva in the chickens. Yeva's blue juju. Or the Primus's juju, because Lami and Robbie made the hole upstairs that everyone's all gaga over with all the divine energy goo. And then Ed made the divine energy goo into the axe. And the axe, when people touch it, hears Yeva in their head. So I would say that they're going to use Yeva juju in the chickens to make Yeva chickens. Yeva is a dead dragon goddess lady who also wants to end the world or something like that.
Lami's like, no, that's about it. Yeah. And you see the rest of this little quartet kind of looking slowly at each other. Just like looking back and forth like, well, that sounds like a terrible thing that we should be putting a stop to. Right, gentlemen? We should be dealing with this here problem before it gets any worse. So your friend might be nearby, near where all this nonsense is going on, or he might not be. But this is really unless Holmes, you got something else you're sitting on, this is the best lead we've got. They're using something to power their terrifying inventions, and that should probably be checked out Is there any way we can figure out what they're using? Rayhan just goes, if it's evil, I can find it. You said it was a djinn, right? The last one?
The last one was, yes.
All right.
Well, I pull the axe out. Can you sense this thing? Because this is the juju you're looking for. Do you want to smell it?
Kind of holds out a hand. Kind of. And he's going to do... You feel magic fire off. And because we haven't had a cleric in a hot minute or three, he kind of pulls his hand out and goes, I can... Yeah, that I can get something off that. You said, yeah, there's a weird smell of undead around that. I'm mixing the accents together. There's a weird smell of undead. You said it's a dragon?
Well, it's a dead dragon.
Well, that'd be all right. So she's not dead.
Oh no, is she a Dracolich? That was mostly to me / you smiling at me.
No, she's not. I'll give you that for free.
She's a Dracoghost. A Draghost.
Now, Benny's like, all right, well, we can maybe find it. Do we want to head down to the range, or do we want to sniff around here a little more? We could split up too. I don't know how we want to divvy up.
I mean, do we know where Gale and Nagel went? Or does it say where those things were being shipped?
Well, they were brought in, but this note from Nagel is somewhat recent, I think. Presumably they're on the range somewhere. Or
I mean,
they're...
if it's older than... How long ago did that disappear? 3 days?
3 days, yeah.
3 days? If it's older than 3 days, that's when my friend went missing.
Do you... Quick, can someone copy down the lettering? I can maybe find out how old this is. Rimbaldi pulls out a pen and in a very swift and fluid motion, like jots down the note and replicates everything. And Holmes goes, all right, don't look at me, please, while I do this. It's embarrassing. And you see everyone go, oh, yeah. And they all turn their backs on him as he's sort of sitting at this table.
I'll turn my back. Does he pee on it? What's going on here? It's not a jellyfish sting.
Lomey turns his back as well, and a few moments later, here. And that's fine. You can turn around now. And he's kind of crumpling up the paper in his hands and like goes to throw it into the empty fireplace. That note appears to be 3-ish days old. So before your friend was abducted.
Mm-hmm.
So they wrote the note, went down, went to the range, and came back. So it's entirely likely your friend is here. Or he's left town, and we won't know that until we search here. Or search the school.
You don't have, like, a find person spell, do you?
Not on me at the moment. We've been mostly getting by on our wits, and some of us are dashing good looks.
So my issue is, we already searched the range fairly thoroughly. at least around where my friend was. That being said, it seems like these two things are correlated. It's a big word for Elmo. Now, correlation does not always mean causation, so we could just be dealing with two things that happen to be going on at the same time, or they could be connected. So we could go up looking for these people, which I didn't see when I was up there. At least I don't think so. Did I see them when we were up there? Did I see two people that match Nigel and Nagel and Gale's description?
Above ground?
Yeah.
Or like around the range?
Mm-hmm.
Roll history for me. Because I don't think you got a description of what they look like.
I didn't?
I don't think you did. You haven't met them.
Clerk?
The clerk kind of gave you like race.
One.
No. Absolutely not.
So we could go up and look for them. Maybe they're still here. But the cart that abducted my friend went into the city, and there are no records from the guards saying that the cart ever existed.
So there are guards in on this. And that's, the range is Corimvor territory, not Durganvor. Steel City Guard. Mind the drain pipe. There's multiple people involved in this. Now, I'm trying to be a trusting type. Most people don't trust me on account of I don't have skin. But, Mr. Ronon, are you sure you can trust your friend in the guard and the Modrons to find out anything?
I mean, the Modrons are all kind of connected. I don't think there can just be like one bad one. I think they're all kind of hive-mindy. I could be wrong, though. Who knows? The only mean one I've ever met was a red one. But my friend in the guard, Pink Plume, he's been chill. We once threw a owl bear at him. It was in a little cube.
In it. Mr. Ronon, when we're all done here, I would love to sit you down and watch you have a few drinks and hear some more of these stories. If
Sure.
that's all right with you. Now, I think if you trust him, this Pink Plume gentleman, we can see if he knows anything about records going missing or anything like that. See what information we can get. But I do think that if they're working on something like that and they're trying to use your friend to help make a battery, I think the university is going to be the only place they can really work on that. At least that's my best guess.
Cool.
So
Then I'll go ask them. Tech. I was like, I know I wrote that down because I read it last time.
yes, you did. Proud of you, buddy.
Okay, well, I'll go talk to a Modron, and I leave.
Now Lomey's like, I'm gonna go with him. Make sure he doesn't do anything dumb. Don't run off. We'll find you. He like leaves out the door and shuts it behind him.
Can I find a Modron?
You can. You have to hike a little ways in towards the center of the city.
Okay.
But you do find a couple of guardsmen standing a little ways out doing sort of a patrol around the area for a lot of commotion has happened over at the Artificing College. Just hanging out doing their usual thing. A lot of ruckus has been drawn over there because of some magical working that disrupted the foundation of the building. Don't know what that could have been. Could have been anybody. But you see a couple of guards in their suits, but the helmets are often retracted and they're kind of standing around leaning against things. You see one of them is taking like the sword he's got and is carving carving almost what looks like a tic-tac-toe board into the ground, into one of the flagstones. They're chatting with each other, and they look up and they go, "Hey, how you doing?"
You
Yeah,
should
you all
always
right?
start with the center one. It gives you the most advantage. Hey, do any of you happen to have your modrons on you?
There you go. The one who has some officer regalia kind of pops up, and he goes, "Why? Yes, I do. Can I help you?"
I need to get a message to Tech. I need him, and I cannot find the note on Pink Plume's name.
Magnus.
Magnus.
It's a good British kind of name. The sergeant goes, "You wish to talk to the..." No, Tech. That is official city. That's over official city channels, sir. May I ask why?
Ronon Dex. I need to talk to him about a missing person incident.
A missing person.
Mm-hmm. He told me whenever I got information to let him know. Or if I needed more information to let him know.
And you see for a second he kind of looks. He's like, missing person. Roll insight for me, real quick. See if we can get a read inside this kid's head.
14 for 14.
There's a split second where he's like, missing persons case, and the captain's involved. That seems like a most excellent time to, maybe I could do something with that. Yeah, that'd be excellent. And he kind of looks and he's like, yeah, if the captain's involved, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'll help him, and maybe this will work out. But this old man might just be crazy, but he knows the Modron's name, so he kind of reaches. He's like, one moment, and he taps his foot, and from a smaller flagstone, probably like 5 feet to the right, 3 Modrons are also carving out their own tiny tic-tac-toe board. And he taps his foot, and one of the Modrons just snaps to and turns. Greetings and salutations. How may I assist, sir? And he goes, this older gentleman needs to make a call to Captain Magnus and Tech. And he goes, Tech? I would be honored to speak to Tech. What is your message, sir?
I need to speak with him and Magnus, preferably in person.
Very well.
My name is Ronon Dex, by the way.
Ronon. Ah, yes. One of the speakers chosen. It is lovely to meet you.
It is good to meet you, too.
And he kind of, the eye just kind of goes blank.
Neep nerp.
Tech and Captain Magnus will be down momentarily.
Perfect.
Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Nope.
Are you certain? And the sergeant just kind of looks down a little. He's like, no. Come here. And he's like, nope. We'll let them do their thing. And he puts the Modron up on the shoulder, and the Modron is still at attention.
No, I think we're good. Thank you very much for your assistance. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure to serve one of the speakers chosen. He goes, no,
curtsy.
no, dog.
Disadvantage. 12. I don't think I have any pluses. No, I don't. Oh, I have a +1, 13.
The Modron does not acknowledge the curtsy. It's just still in that position, but stares directly into your eyes. And the sergeant's like, no, okay. Thank you. We'll power down, buddy. And the Modron kind of, yes, sir. Well, the captain should be here any minute. So, you're welcome to stay and play, or if you have if you want to take a seat, we can.
I've been standing for a while, so I will find the nearest wall and help hold it up by me leaning against it.
There's a couple of benches even. You could sit on a bench.
Yo, I'll sit on a bench.
Yeah, nice. A remarkably comfortable stone bench.
Yas, queen. Let's go.
Lomey, on the other hand, is going to try and play some games with these people. So, Rachel, if you're not taking notes, would you like to be the guards? And Chris can be Lomey.
Sure.
We're just going to do rollies.
This is the
Okay.
first non-disadvantage roll I've had in
All right,
like
rollies for
3
the
months.
people who aren't here. Ready? We're gonna roll
Oh,
for
wait, I have to
everyone
use a
but us.
Lommy die.
Yeah, use a Lommy dice. That's a neat dice. We'll use.
Lommy die.
Okay.
It's black and blue because it used to be blue.
Not anymore.
Dabu dee dabu die. You really just got him to be not blue so we would stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe next time. So, yeah, roll for it.
13.
8.
Okay. We'll do 2 more. Because there's 3 guards and they all want to have a turn. So one of the corporals wins 1.
That one's
4.
on top of the other one. 3.
Okay.
Sorry, Josh.
The third, and then the third roll will be the sergeant.
14.
1.
So you watch Ronan as Lommy has the worst. He goes over and they're kind of playing tic-tac-toe, and then they switch over to liar's dice. Super easy, super simple game of hedging your bets on how many dice there are under these cups, and you have no idea what the numbers are. And you watch as Lommy loses 2 games. One's pretty, like, against the corporal, it's like learning the game, trying to figure it out. The mid-tier, the older gentleman is, it's a rough game. This guy clearly doesn't have a head for numbers, but he's got the fattest coin purse, so they keep him around to take some of his money when they gamble. But against the sergeant on duty, Lommy's luck swings hard the other direction. And Lommy basically, after these couple of rolls, that's when Lommy mentions that he doesn't have a coin purse and he doesn't have any money. So he ends up coming out like a couple of gold ahead by the time he pays back the debt that he owed the other 2 guys. So he gets like 1 or 2 gold ahead. But as people are, there's an argument kind of starting, and they're like, "What do you mean? You did all this gambling without money?" He's like, "Listen, I thought we were playing for fun, and you just started saying numbers, so I started saying numbers, and I thought it was a great time." You hear woot, woot, woot of another guard coming through, and you watch as the 3 of them just go, "Oh shit!" And they shuffle away their coins and things, and the 2 younger gentlemen sort of like give a whistle and a signal, and their modrons kind of pop up from where they were standing and run over. And Ronan, I need you to make a perception check for me.
At disadvantage. That one's cocked. Probably won't help. Nope. 9.
Okay. Lommy, you watch as Lommy's like, oh, he's picking up his 1 or 2 coins, and he stops for a second and kind of shrugs and walks away. Walks over to you and kind of gives you a lift up. And as he reaches out a hand, he goes, "Hey, is it weird that they all told their modrons to wipe?" They just said wipe and a number. Is that weird? I think that's weird.
I think that's weird. What are they wiping?
I don't know. They're not cleaning up anything. They're just like, I don't know what kind of of stuff are they? And you hear, oh, good evening, gentlemen. I was told that my presence was needed here. And you hear all three of them click their exosuits together, throw a salute. Sergeant goes, yes, Captain. These gentlemen over here, particularly the older gentleman on the bench, was asking for you. He goes, oh, yes, this is Rodent. Good, I was wondering if I was so worried you were involved in that terrible incident up at the university. Yes, well, yes, gentlemen, thank you very much for bringing this to my attention. Why do you all look so out of regulations? What is this? And Magnus is walking over and he looks and goes, gentlemen. And leans down real quick, pulls up a die. One of the youngest corporal, the first person Lomey played with, or the second person. Actually, no, there was a natural one. It was the captain's, or the sergeant's die. He goes, Sergeant, are your men gambling? And he goes, we're going to do a contested roll there. Oop. Dice towers all over the place. Oh, fuck. Magnus looks him up and down. And he goes, Sergeant, you know the rules. This is why you're a sergeant in the first place. Encouraging your men to gamble on duty is a dereliction of their task. You know that is against the rules.
What's a dereliction?
Breaking the rule. Like, okay. you know this was against the
abandoning
rules.
duties and like.
If there was an incident and you were too busy gambling to notice the slightest hint of trouble, then any injury that comes from it would fall on you. And I assume that your men were also involved in this nonsense. I would like to see all three of you in my office first thing tomorrow. Is that understood? The three of them all looking a little crestfallen. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, Captain. Right. Well, I heard that, what was that? Oh, yes, the sewers are in need of another cleaning. Perhaps I found another task for you, gentlemen. Dismissed. Kind of crisply, but their faces are very forlorn. Throw a salute, and the three of them leave. Magnus kind of corrects an invisible jacket through his armor. That's enough of that. Comes over. I'm terribly sorry about that, gentlemen. That was embarrassing for me. They are. I would hope that my officers are better behaved.
Do you ever... This might be a question for Tech as well.
Yes, sir.
What does wipe mean? Wipe and then like a number.
Magnus kind of looks. Tech looks, and they go, I do not know.
Lomey overheard the guards say to their Modrons, wipe, and then a number.
One moment, please. And again, that vacant stare. And the eye comes back. Mr. Ronan Dex, do you know what numbers were said?
Lomey, what numbers were said?
One said 30, one said 10, one said 60. Detective goes, thank you. Captain, it appears there are gaps in the recordings from our three gentlemen's personal Modrons. This is most unusual and not something that should be doable. Magnus goes, You mean to tell me that these gentlemen are destroying evidence of their... Right.
Well, I think we found the other answer we were looking for then. I mentioned that the upstairs guards seem to be in cahoots with whoever stole Ed before. It seems as though the professors Nagel and Gale are somehow involved because they've also disappeared. We found some evidence saying from, I believe it was Nagel to Gale, that they found something and to meet them at the range, and it lines up pretty spot on with Ed's disappearance. And we also found some notes of Nagel, I think it was Nagel, or it was Gale, one of them, signed papers to not inspect some merchandise coming into the spout of the city.
Yes, the downspout, yes.
Which apparently is checked on by guards with logbooks. And I brought up the fact that guards, I think all of them have Modrons, correct? Down here, anyway.
With a few exceptions, yes.
Okay. So I thought, well, geez, if there were some guards doing shady things, their Modrons should know.
And you're watching as Magnus, who you have never seen, as he is full of bluff and bluster, and is normally in a relatively jovial mood once you get past the, like, spray of spit, because he doesn't know how to control his plosives. You are watching his face harden. Not in, like, a magical way. This is just... He is furious. And he has gone quiet for much longer than you have ever heard Magnus not speak.
Do I know... I don't think it was mentioned to me, but was it mentioned when it was signed off that they didn't inspect the crates? Was there, like, a date on that?
There would have been a date.
And would they have mentioned it to me would be the other thing. And you don't have to give me, like, the real date. You can just say, like,
so there would have been a date
ago.
on the logbook.
But the logbook is what was missing, right?
That page was gone.
Okay.
So you would know. It was about a week ago.
About a week ago?
About a week ago, it was brought in. You can't determine an exact date because they took, like, the day before and after.
Okay.
For those taken.
It would have been about a week ago, but the part of the logbook was missing, so I can't give you an exact date for you to figure out who was on guard duty then. It would have been about a week ago.
And you hear his teeth starting to grind as as Magnus is clenching his jaw here. He goes, "Gentlemen, this is very serious. I believe you understand the severity of this."
Yes. That's why I'm only talking to you about it.
I will be bringing this to King Robbie's attention immediately. Unfortunately, any assistance I could give has now soured. I may be able to provide some information, but I do not know who else has taken to these actions. please continue what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You are all and he throws this. You see a grin creep across his face. You're a bunch of shit stirrers. And I need you to stir this until all the shit flows to the surface. Am I understood?
Yes, sir.
Tech, do we have a spare? Yes, sir. Yes, we have one. Good. Would you gentlemen like a modron of your own?
Is there any, can it communicate, like, only with you and Tech, or can other people,
that
like...
it can only communicate with me and Tech.
Then absolutely, I think that would come in handy.
Good. And he reaches into a pocket, pulls out a modron, and he turns. He goes, Tech, what is his name? He goes, I believe GoPro. He goes, good morning, GoPro. And you hear the modron kind of... Greetings and salutations. How may I be of service, Captain? He goes, GoPro, you have a very important task ahead of you, one that the speaker chose specifically for you. These two men need to speak with me privately. You are to protect them. Ensure that if anything comes to them, you come directly to me. Is that understood? If they ask to speak with me or Tech, you will agree and carry on their message swiftly and tell no one else. Is that understood? He goes, of course, Captain. I am here to serve. Very good. Which one of you would like to be the handler?
I'll take GoPro for now until Lomey is feeling a bit more himself, and then we can decide. Also, can I make... I was thinking about doing it then, but can I insight check my good friend Magnus to see if he was actually... I mean, he can't be involved, but, like, the twist
It's an
that would
investigation,
be...
buddy. Roll insight for me.
It's normally at advantage, so it's a straight roll.
Straight roll.
19! My first good roll of the night, which gives me a 19.
If you learn two things from this insight check as you are explaining this to Magnus and this conversation has gone on, you discover you have known Magnus for a while at this point. You have seen him do some shit. You have been the cause of some of this shit. Magnus takes his job unbelievably seriously. And it's always been, it's kind of been a bit. It's kind of been goofy that he's always coming in and blustering and yelling, but he is very, very dedicated to his job and what he believes is right and wrong. You have never seen him this angry, and either he is the best actor you have seen, or this is a genuine fury, and you are, having felt that kind of betrayal and rage before, you identify with it, and you cannot fake that.
Cool. My boy still got it.
If I hear anything, Tech will let you know. Now, if you'll excuse me, gentlemen, time to see what's been going on under my nose.
Before you go, Tech,
Yes.
can you tell if there are any gaps in your memory? Like, if we find a Modron and we ask it, do you guys know?
And he freezes for a second. Long moment. Magnus goes, Tech, answer the question. Kind of stops. I am uncertain.
All right.
Without wiping a portion of my own memory, I would have no way of knowing.
Well, don't do that.
Correct. Wiping is against every policy.
Then how are they doing it?
That is the question that you're here to find out.
It's like they plugged in a Game Shark and now no one knows what's up.
Where would you plug in a shark? They're making chickens, not sharks.
That's true.
That would be interesting over there. No. Right. I will go report to King Robbie and tell him that you two are working on finding the cause of it.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank me when the task is over. We have much to do. Gentlemen, and he throws you a salute.
So I'll give him a ye old elite little little chest bump.
Not even gonna make you roll for it. He throws it down, and you watch, and he goes, and you have seen these guards moving. Magnus is not moving quickly, but he is moving like a juggernaut. He is going to a destination, and you will get out of his way.
Rip and Tear starts playing in the background.
Yes, the Doom soundtrack off in the distance. BFG Division starts thumping as he heads out up the city. And it's 10 o'clock, but I know we had a bit of a later run. We can go a little further with you, Chris, or we can call it there.
At the moment, to be fair, like, the only thing I would do would go back and tell them that, like, yo, no dice on the Modron thing. It turns out the guards can wipe their memory.
Okay.
For an undisclosed amount of time.
Okay.
Which would then lead me to going, I don't know what to do, and go find Thalia.
Perfect. What an excellent time to leave off. So with that, we will we'll wrap up for the night. Thank you both for playing. Rachel, thank you for hanging out for the second half and getting all the names that I was dropping and being like, I know this. But yes, so thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back next week. We will be sans Chris, and I'm assuming at this point sans Josh because of work. So it will be another Rachel and Devin show in the Astral Sea. Other brief announcements. Tomorrow, the Cyberpunk Red Stories in New Hope will be back for another very fun episode. So tune in for that. That is at 9 p.m. EDT and runs for about 2 hours. Yeah, we're competing with Critical Role, but I think we're better than we're more popular than they are. Hi, Matt Mercer, I love you. And Chris, any word on Sundays? Do we have Idiot's Guide this week or next week?
I actually did not poke them about that.
Keep an eye on the Twitter
right now.
And if you tune into the Cyberpunk game tomorrow, we'll have an answer for you. But keep an eye on the Twitter for our Sunday Idiot's Guide to Day Aside game. And then we will be back Chris, your game's at 7 usually?
Yes. To be fair, we try to do 7. It normally ends up being 7:15, but
So
yeah, we're great at times.
we will. You'll see us go live, and that'll be the Idiot's Guide game on Sunday, and then we'll be back Wednesday for our little two-person one-shot adventure in the Astral Sea. Real quick, this episode, as all Ash and Shade episodes, are sponsored by Sheckler Woodworking. The man, the myth, the legend himself will make you anything you want out of, as long as it's made out of wood, including like marimba bars and things. I've seen him do it. Also, if you go to his website, you can get stickers. You can get individuals or a 4-pack of stickers that look great on anything. Make whatever merch you want into 5% chance merch. And if you use code 5% chance, the percent sign on the word chance at checkout, you get 10% off of whatever you order. So if you want to get yourself a nice fancy dice tray, they're quite lovely. So that being said, thank you both for playing. Thank you all for hanging out, and we will see y'all fine folks next week. Take care, everybody.